you have a degree of concentration, even if it's merely observation. You have a degree of your persona, your energy,
Yes.
involved in working with that person. And it seems to me that there's a dual thing here. There's one thing where you're interconnected with the person because
Yes.
you're doing this as a transaction together. But there is something else where, as an observer, you have an objectivity towards the thing rather than being totally subjective towards it.
Yes.
And I think that's a very interesting whole thing with healing, how much of the subjective heals because of the interconnectedness and how much objectivity actually can get in the way of healing, rather like allopathy is confrontational, whereas homeopathy goes with. So I don't know whether I've made myself clear, but I think there must be a very delicate balance between your observation being an energy which can be controlling or intrusive on the healing, and your clearing, as you say, so that the healing happens, even though you're
Yes.
aware.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may.
When I asked once, how do you know how long to hold your hands in a place? A very experienced spiritual healer said, watch the person. They will tell you. And they tell you most often in the change of breathing.
Yeah.
And then you know it's time to move, or their foot will twitch, or
That's
something. So that is the way I was taught.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way. You haven't got an ego, but you can observe without having an ego or any kind of, what you call it, persona, because then you're just a machine in a way. You're allowing this to happen, but you need to know when to pull back, turn off, turn up, move your hands and all that. So I was taught the same way, I must say.
And sometimes,
Observe
and
closely.
sometimes you can have cleared a meridian and already be well into the balancing, and then you see, and you've held it for 2 minutes already, the meridian, and now you've already started balancing, and because with level 1 you clear all the systems first, all the body bits that you get on your cards, you clear everything, and then you balance everything, and you can be well into the balancing, and suddenly you'll see the meridian release. Because especially if it's a full meridian, like a bladder meridian, or something that runs down the legs, or something that runs down the arms, the arm, the leg, whatever, suddenly shoots out,
Yes.
and you actually watch the release. So the clearing doesn't stay within the 2 minutes. You're giving it time. That's the pendulum, or with muscle testing, whatever you're comfortable with. You can use either methods, and then you get we've got a little chart. Everything is written down. It's all visual. You get stuff with the course. It's not, you don't sort of leave straight away. In the first sort of 2 days, or the first evening and the second full day, we're going through the stuff and we're going through the chart, and we're telling you what you need to do at each. It's a system. There's something to do at each point.
You mean telling the patient?
No, the facilitator's learning how to do this.
Oh yes,
so they will learn.
Yeah, I understand that.
The facilitator will learn what happens at each point
Yes.
of their charts and what they need to do. And by the 3rd day, we are working on people already.
Yes.
You're working on each other already, and it's just really polishing it, and that's all it is. So by the end of it, because it's so simple, and it's all done for you, that you go away and it's getting case studies done and things like that.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to the question of when you ask the innate knowledge or
Yes.
the innate awareness, how long this healing process is going to take.
Yes.
You as the therapist ask that. Do you then get an answer, either through your pendulum or through however you get your answers?
Yes.
Do you get an answer which might say this is going to take 6 weeks?
We ask how long will the session take to process, and you have a wheel which has got days, weeks, months, hours kind of thing on it, and it will
Right.
select one.
Right.
And
I
then you
see.
have another wheel which has got 1 to 6.
Yes.
So it might be 6 days, or it
Right.
might be 1 week,
Yes.
which is 7 days, or it
Yes.
might be 2 weeks, or it might be 6 months,
Right.
or...
And then do you tell the client that?
I do, yes. So,
Yes, so
it's,
the client goes
the client
away
knows.
with an idea that
Oh.
within 2 weeks this thing will be clear.
or it's processing for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
It might not be fully clear, because what we also ask is, do they need any more sessions?
Yes.
And it will be yes for that particular intention.
Yes.
Or no, because
Yes.
maybe that intention's been sorted in
Yes.
that one session.
Yes.
And then, depending on how long the processing time is, if it's a week, I don't work with them again until that week's finished.
Yes.
If it's 6 months, I will work with them, but on other stuff.
Yes.
Because
You're waiting for that to cook.
that will cook, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's a long enough time that the processing is slow and it's working on things as it's going, and we can shift other things in the meanwhile, which might actually speed that up. Occasionally, I've had sessions that have taken a couple of hours to sort. So that's been quite interesting, and a day even, you know. So in that case, then I will work with them after that. If it's a short processing time, anything up to a week, 2 weeks, I'll work with them after that's finished processing. We don't work before. If it's longer, months, sort of 6 months to 6 months, then we can work on other things. And we keep checking that intention as well, and we see whether they're still in the same place or whether they've shifted out of it. And you can start telling quite soon, you know, just a few simple questions and just listening to how they speak. And I was listening to, I know the intention that we set for Bria's session, and I was listening to her talking to me just now, and it seems like she's already working on stuff that's completely different to the intention that we set, and she didn't even realize it. Completely different. So, and that's kind of the profound way in that it works, is that it shifts things to the degree that you forget that you even had a problem with it in the first place. And that's why it's nice to have follow-up sessions that you can actually revisit some of that stuff. You know, it's like writing in a journal, and 6 years down the line you're rereading your journal, you can't believe you were there. But this is like so much shorter. You know, it's a short space of time.
I've had a lot of questions. I've got some more, but I must let